Welcome, Ghost and Ghouls, to another episode of My Spooky Life. My name is Karma. So, last time I went to Goatman's Bridge again with our friend Gio and Whitney, and we also went to Flagpole Park, which is also another haunted location. And I came to the conclusion that Goatman's Bridge, at least the bridge itself, isn't haunted. This is the second time I've been there, haven't really had any issues, don't really feel anything. Gio and Whit were with me as well, and they also said they didn't feel anything. There's a lot of traffic. I mean, a lot of people coming in. I went at night, and this is exactly what I wanted to avoid, with a whole bunch of people being there. And sure enough, that's what happened. We had a lot of kids within all ages just showing up in and out. We couldn't really do I wanted to try to do an EVP, but we couldn't do it with all those people around. So we didn't do anything. But the neighboring woods are a whole different deal. They give you this eerie feeling, and I'm no stranger to running around in the woods, which I'll touch up in a bit. So I'm no stranger, and running around the woods in the middle of the night, it was my favorite thing to do in high school. So I'm not scared to go into a dark forest. I'm just not. But trying to enter those forests was kind of weird at night. Even during the day, I felt like something was a little off. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the pictures that we found, the pictures that we took at Goatman's Bridge. That I feel, unfortunately, I didn't take the double picture, so I can't compare it to different photos of the same spot to try to see if it's not just a weird camera flare or weird lighting or the mist. There's a lot of mist that night, but I'll show you. All right, so this first picture, I actually took at the end of the visit of Goatman's Bridge. It is at the beginning, so to speak, when you first go into the area. You see the bridge, and there was a lot of writing in there. It did say, it has a lot of graffiti, which is I touched on the last video about Goatman's Bridge. There's a lot of graffiti on the area, so I can't really tell if the graffiti stands for something or if it's just people being weird. It really didn't show anything. It's something about dare you, why don't you come in here, dare to come in here. I can't really make out from the picture, but it was just an invitation written on top. I did feel a little nervous about getting too close to it. I don't know if it's because I felt like maybe there's someone in there, so I didn't go in. The second picture is of the wooded area. Actually, on the second side is where I saw those pair of boxer shorts. And, like I said, I'm not a stranger to the woods, but I didn't want to go in. For some reason, I just didn't want to go in. It wasn't even that dark. It looks dark here, but I could see in front of me just fine. But you can kind of see the mist on the right side of the picture from, how foggy it was. But, nothing really showed up on the pictures themselves except for this third one. On this third picture, you can actually see what looks like a light shining down into like a dark ring. And what got me interested about this picture is that you didn't see them. I didn't see them in any of the other pictures. I took several other pictures of the woods, and none of them have this type of mist. Like, you can tell it's fog. Here, it's just on one area, and I don't know what could have been there before. There's stories that there's a shack or a shed somewhere, or even a little cabin where the goat man used to live, but I never found it. I don't know if I was just looking in the wrong spots or if it was already removed. But this anomaly right here I thought was pretty cool. Just the light. It looks like a light coming down, like the heavens parted and the light fell in. But that's all I got from the Goatman's Bridge trip. So the second place we went to was Flagpole Park, and as it sounds, it's Flagpole Hill, and then you kind of go around. And it was really pretty, right by White Rock Lake, and there was a mess hall or something, some kind of like place that you can rent, and it looked kind of creepy, so we got out of the car where we're not supposed to park, but we did just temporarily. But we got out of the car and we went to the trees and started taking pictures, because my friend Whit mentioned, hey, this is like where they hang people, right? And she kept saying, I just feel like this tree is where they hung like 5 people. She kept saying that, and so we took pictures And so I'm gonna show you guys the pictures right now. All right, so this is an actual first picture we took at White Rock Lake flagpole, whatever. And you can actually see that there's like a flare on the side. That flare is actually Wit's flash, and you can see in the next picture it's gone. But the way you can tell if it's a flash, it has a distinct like hazy look, and you can tell what a flash is in these kind of type of pictures. And she was actually saying that this tree specifically looked like that's where they hung 5 people. And I told her, well, this tree's a little young. So we turned around and there was another tree by the actual little weird building, and we took 2 pictures there, and actually nothing really came up either. Just the exposure changed a little from one picture to another from the HDR, trying to compensate for the darkness. So we had a creepy feeling. It was kind of creepy. There was a Mustang parked at the entrance with steamy windows. So we just wanted to get out of there pretty soon. I don't know if that was just making it awkward. So as we're leaving, I actually see this group of benches surrounded by trees. We're like, hey, let's stop real quick and just take pictures. We're taking pictures from inside the car at this point. And I get this picture. And from where I can see, there's about 5 lines going through it. They're right under the trees. They kind of look like when an airplane flies by and they leave a white line. That's what it looks like. But this is under the trees, like completely under them. It should not be there at all, but it is. And on the next picture, they're gone. And the only thing that's left is, I don't know if it's overexposure, but you can kind of see what looks like a hazy flying through the picture in the middle. And Whit took a couple pictures as well, and she didn't get anything on the camera on this spot. You actually only see it in that first picture I took. That's why I take more than one picture, because you can actually see things that don't show up on both of them. I thought it was pretty cool how just before she had said that's where they hang about 5 people. And then here we go, there's 5 lines that show up. That's what we got from Flagpole Hill Park. I still can't remember. But we didn't see it anywhere else. We took more pictures as we were driving away, and nothing really showed up after that. It was just that one spot, which I thought was, again, pretty creepy. And it was pretty cool. Like, we saw it, like, as we were driving away, I looked at it. I'm like, hey, we got something. So that's what we got there. So those are the pictures that we took. And I thought they were pretty cool. I can't explain them, and I feel legitimately like there was something there. We all felt it. You know, I guess, had a premonition about it before we even saw it. But I thought it was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and start with my stories of my life, what's happened. We ended off with the full body apparition, which seems to be a pattern. Every time something big happens, like when paranormal activity starts to act up again, I always see a full body apparition, completely freaked out and everything. So after that, this is where I'm going to go ahead and talk about how I would constantly go into the woods with my friends. We had our own little, I guess, little coven, sort of, so kind of, and we really enjoyed going into the woods because they were really beautiful. There's armadillos and squirrels and all these different animals, right? And it was pretty fun. It was never really creepy. There was always little open spaces, and so we'd run around in there, and every now and then we'd see orbs, or we'd even hear voices. And then we're like, well, maybe the voices in the orbs could be flashlights and voices of hobos that sometimes camp out in those woods. But it it happened a little too often, and we never ever heard any other footsteps. So I honestly feel like there was something creepy going on in those woods, other than the fact that there might be hidden, body parts or whatever in there. Um, they're really fun. I actually had my first summer solstice little, what's it called, ceremony there, which I thought was pretty fun. So with the whole woods things, me and my friends saw a lot of ghosts and apparitions. I don't go over to their. I'd skip school, and I don't recommend skipping school. Kids, stay in school. But at the time, I was having little issues. So I just decided to skip school one day, and we went over to his house, my friend's house. Him and his younger brother were watching TV and all that kind of cool stuff. And a lot of weird things started happening. We don't see a lot of shadows. There's this weird feeling in my gut, like something was wrong, but there was nothing really wrong per se. I know that while we're watching a movie, a snake came out of nowhere and was on the air conditioning unit, and you could see the shadow. What I found kind of weird is what in the world was a snake doing up there? Like it was a huge snake. Like it was we're used to seeing rattlesnakes and copperheads and things like that. This wasn't a rattlesnake. It could have been just somebody's escaped boa, as it is in Texas and people are a little crazy here. So I was thinking maybe that's what that was, now that I think about it. But we're like, okay, so we have to get it away from the house. So we go outside, um, machetes in hand, a rake and a couple of rocks, and we get it. It's off the AC at this point. It's on the floor, and we're trying to get it to run away. Most of the time, snakes will leave if you're throwing rocks at it and pushing it away with a rake. This snake wasn't leaving at all. Like it already had a piece of its tail missing from their older brother who had previously already tried to get rid of it. Um, and it just kept coming back. And what really freaked us out about this snake is that it turned around and came at us. And it's like, okay, so we don't know if it's poisonous. It looks like a python, so it might not be poisonous, but still that bite can get really infected. We're throwing rocks at it. We're hitting it with the rake. We're like, okay, we got to kill this thing. It's coming after us. But it just stops and slithers away. And it was just a really weird situation because I'm not, from my experiences with snakes, which seems to be a normal thing that happened before, with the ball of snakes, um, they don't really come towards you in general, unless they're like rattlesnakes or like get at you, or cobras or whatever, try to get you to, the main focus for them is trying to get you away and protect themselves, But this guy was coming right at us and he kept coming right at us and we just, we didn't know what to do other than just throw rocks at it and freak out. So that's just one example of the weird things that would happen. The area was really prominent in owls and things like that. But I always found it weird that there would still be an owl once it was daylight at a tree on our bus stop while we were waiting to go to school. Little weird things like that. And touching back to the after school, knowing that we were kind of the weird, odd group. A friend of a friend Joey's, she asked us to go to her house because he inadvertently made a spirit go into her room. She felt like there was something wrong in there, and it was just really off. So we all go. It's a couple of our friends and I. We go over to her house and we go upstairs. She lives upstairs, and so we go in the room and immediately we can feel that it's heavy. Right, something's in there. Something's not natural. Something's not right. So we go and we have incense with us. I believe they were rosemary incense. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but they were incense, and we light them and we start putting them around the room. She had a lot of porcelain dolls. Like I cannot stress enough how many porcelain dolls this woman had. This girl, I guess, at the time, she had so many of them. It like made me think of my mom and all her porcelain dolls. Um, but she had so many of them, and a lot of the times ghosts will attach themselves to dolls or things that look humanoid because they're looking for a vessel. And so that's where I assumed it was, so we put one there. And then I turned around and noticed that she has a little door in her wall, which leads to like the heating system kind of attic-y kind of situation. I was like, okay, yeah, there's definitely something in there. That's just creepy. I don't know, the house we used to live in had one of those and I just hated it. It's super creepy. And anyways, it's super creepy. I just had to check, make sure it's still recording. Anyways, it's super creepy, and so we put one there, and just as we put an incense on the door, it's a kind of hard to open, so you can just put it in the little crack that it has, and it was fine. We walk away and we walk towards her bed, and as we're walking away, we hear the door open and shut, and it slams, and the incense goes flying right at us. It misses all of us, but it flew right at us. And we're like, okay, so that's definitely where it's at, and it is not happy. Um, and so I'm getting goosebumps. And so, my friend and I, Joey and I, we stand in front of each other because we were like not really the heads of the group. He was more of the head of the group, but because of our activity levels, we seem to be on the same kind of wavelength. We're attracting supernatural and paranormal things. So we were the main liaisons to try to get rid of whatever was in that room. So we stand in front of each other. You hold out your arms and you just sit there and you close our eyes and we start to, like, I guess, meditate. You take a deep breath, kind of open chakras kind of thing to kind of get rid of it. And we're both in our heads saying, leave. You're not supposed to be here. You need to leave. Um, so we're doing that for a while, and I kind of felt dizzy. I felt like I was in some kind of trance. And then we heard a loud noise, and it was at the window. Something smacked the window, and the blinds were moving. Um, but then that feeling immediately left. As soon as that happened, the heavy feeling left. And later on, our friends told us if we had choreographed that beforehand or something. And we're like, no, why? And they said, because if you guys were sitting like side to side instead of front, face to face, you would have been moving the exact same way in the exact same, direction. So we were making facial expressions, moving our heads a certain way in the exact same way. And we had our eyes closed, and we had never planned this before. We've never done anything before. So, I mean, it was our own little weird exorcism that happened because we felt we needed to help a friend to get rid of whatever was in her room. And somehow we became our paranormal senses synced, and we were doing the exact same thing, which is cool, but at the same time, it's like, okay, that happened without us knowing. It's a little creepy. But that's my story on exorcism. Since then, I've done that multiple times. I still do it to this day. So here, I'm going to give you guys a little one-on-one intro of how to get rid of something that's in your house. As long as it's something really light, a little light poltergeist, little ghost, shadows, whatever. Anything bigger, you're going to want to go look for help. And later on, I'll try to see where. Okay, so the camera turned off right as I was about to explain this kind of stuff to you guys. Kind of creepy that it did that, but here we go. So what you're gonna do is try to relax. It's gonna be a little hard because you're spooked or whatever, but it's fine. Nothing's gonna happen to you. It cannot touch you, but it can obviously bother you and affect your mood, kind of thing. So what you're gonna do is close your eyes and imagine yourself encased in a bubble of white light. And whether it doesn't matter what you believe in or who you pray to or whatever, you can pray to that if you want to, and give yourself strengthen yourself up, and encase yourself in that white light. And then what you're gonna do is expand that light and push it throughout your whole home, like cover everyone who lives with you in the area, and just while you're doing that, tell it to go away. Don't egg it on or anything. Just said, you need to leave. You don't belong here. You need to move on. Leave. And as you're saying, to be stern. And you don't have to say it out loud, but you can if it helps you. And just keep pushing that light out, white out. My best example is a Patronus. Just push it out. Get rid of the evil dementors, and just push it away. And that's it. That is literally it. I don't know, and I the best example that I have where this is kind of seen out in public is another certain movie with a certain Ed and Lorraine. They mention it when they're in the Amityville house. They mention Persephone. Sorry, that's my dog. That was my dog. Anyway, she mentions to encase yourself in a white light to protect yourself, kind of thing. And it's the exact same thing, and it works. It's always worked for me since I found out about it when I was 18. I mean, it was a big help. It's before I would just kind of force it out with my own energy, and it just didn't always work. Eventually, I just had to ignore things, let them happen. Kind of were both crazy. Pen flying that way, pencil fitting this way. Where'd my cup go? Oh, it's in the kitchen, even though I just set it down next to me. Kind of thing happens. But that is all the time I have for today. Let me check the camera real quick. Yes, we are still recording. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and share. I'm leaving the links down below to my Instagram and my Tumblr. And stay spooky.